artists. I am going to show you how to make some sunflowers inspired by Vincent Van Gogh. So, as you can kind of see, I've got lots of different papers, including a background paper. I have the other one that you want to pay attention to is there is very, very thin pieces of yellow paper. They're almost like tissue paper, and that's what I'm going to use to make my sunflowers. Glue, both kinds, the glue stick, the liquid glue, and I have some construction paper crayons. So I'm going to go kind of quickly, I hope, but you can also use your own take on things, and you know, it's still on YouTube if you ever want to see it again. So, and I'm not going to glue everything down. One thing is though, this is going to be my base. This is going to be my table. So I'm going to glue this down onto the ground and cut off the extras. I'm sheeting and I'm folding them around the edges. But I think you will get it. All right. Next, I'm going to make a vase, and I'm going to make my vase out of this paper. So go ahead and draw whatever vase shape you would like. Let's see, do I have two of these? No, okay. I'm gonna make a big bowl shape. And I will cut it out. Actually, before I cut it out, I wanna show you this machine. Now, sometimes the papers get jammed in here, but this makes your paper crinkly. So if you put it in there, let me get it going. It's kind of hard to get it going. So experiment or don't use this. This is just an option. And I'm rolling my paper through it. And now my paper has actual texture on it. It's really ripply. So I can go ahead and cut that out. It was just for fun, to add one more level of interest to your art, because people like art better when there's lots of different stuff going on. Well, not always, but generally. And I think Vincent Van Gogh would appreciate that. Okay, I could see my edges, so I'm going to glue this side down. Just kidding, I'm not really going to glue anything. Okay, I am going to find in my construction paper crayons like a gray, maybe a black, or even a darker blue, and I'm going to add a shadow underneath my vase. When you add shadows, it makes things look more natural. So before I glue it, I guess, lift it up. I'm making horizontal crayon strokes just to make it look a little bit more natural. You could keep looking to see that it looks good. A black oil pastel will also work for this. Okay, so far so good? Excellent. I'm sure your answer was yes, it is great. Okay, so with these, I'm gonna go ahead and take two papers at the same time, ish. They're so thin. And I'm gonna fold it in half. I could even fold it in half again. And with a pencil, I'm gonna draw like a sun shape. So you can draw it however you want, but I'm gonna fill the space. Turn your paper to get a more perfect sun. Otherwise, they always end up looking like weird like that. Boop. Boop. Don't you love the sound effects? You guys are so lucky. Okay. Beep bop. And I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut all of those papers out at the same time. Excuse me. Turn your paper, not your scissors, and life will be easier. sometimes I cut a big chunk off because it'll help me not to have a big leftover piece. I like to cut in small sections. Boop. Ugh, that one looks terrible. Get rid of that. All right. Those little pieces that you're cutting off, you're just going to recycle those because those are so tiny that nobody's going to want to use those for scraps. So when you put stuff in the scrap bin, think, is this something somebody's going to want to use? Okay, so this one's got pencil marks all over it, so I don't like it. Bye. All right, now instead of just using one though, I'm going to use a few of them and rotate them. And then you're going to have kind of different qualities of yellow, and your piece will probably not be perfect, which is good because it looks more natural. I kind of like it with just the two. Let's see, I'll try it with a third one. Oh, I love it. And so if you make another, I could use this one. I could also make more that are different sizes. I could draw on them. To glue them, I recommend using a little bit of this glue. And remember, a dot holds a lot. So just put a dot on each layer or under each layer, stick another one on. So for the center, you could use a hole puncher to make little brown or black dots in the center, like the sunflower seeds that are in there. You could even just rip little pieces, or you can take a bigger piece, and it could be black too, or any other color, orange even. You could chunk it, just ball it up, and you can glue it into the center. That could be a fun way. If you like this idea, but you want a different style flower, another idea is to paint them with watercolor paint and oil pastels, and then cut them out in the future when it's dry. So I'm going to use these crayons though to add my stem. So I'm going to lift the corners up. Your corners should lift too because you just glued the very center of the flowers. Make sure it's nice and thick. You don't want just a little teeny line. And then you can make the leaves. These construction paper crayons, do not underrate them. They are wonderful. They work really well on construction paper. So they show up almost completely just as bright as normal. So you can add something like that. You can always add like another plant coming out or a vine, and you could fill it with different flowers. It doesn't have to be sunflowers. These crayons, you could make decorations in the background. Maybe you want to fill the background with swirlies because Vincent Van Gogh loved swirlies, or you love swirlies. I don't know. It's really up to you. Have fun, everybody, and I'll be excited to see what you make today.